Hello, my name is Jeff Goebel. It's day 48 on the job search quest, and today was a productive day in a different way. It's very bright right now, so some of the lighting angles might not be good, but I've got this brand new car mount for my camera so I can talk into the camera and blog while I drive. So, a large portion of my life, I have befriended the non-mainstream. Some may call them nerds, geeks, unattractive people, oddballs, quirky people. And I felt one of them. An oddball, a little bit quirky. Didn't really find an interest in girls in high school. I was a late bloomer, I guess they call it. I did another blog about being a never bloomer, actually. They've always been interesting people. They've got more depth to them. I found that attractive people are often not as interesting. They have a different lifestyle. They're also harder for me to talk to than, I won't say unattractive people, but people who aren't tens and models, gorgeous, drop-dead women and men. So I also, because of this, have a lot of friends that, have a little bit of mental instability or even mental illness by some of today's definitions, and I include myself in that group as well. But sometimes they're the most interesting people to talk to, because if you don't have mental illness, it's pretty difficult to comprehend what it's like. And I use the example a lot because it's a very common example. If someone is afraid of flying on an airplane, telling them, just buck up and fly on that airplane, just get on it, Or if what's the word, agoraphobic, they can't leave their house. And you say, just get out of the house. It's a slap in the face to people with mental illness to say that it's all in your head. Just get out of the house. And so I'm in this new position where I have to ask for things instead of having them given to me, or have to ask instead of answer, which is really what I've done all my life, is support. The phone rings, I answer it. The email comes, I answer it. And all the jobs I've had have pretty much come in front of my face or been given to me or offered to me. And so it's a little bit different. Sorry about that, sunlight. A little bit different to be in the position to ask. And because of that, my mental illness is showing its colors. And a couple of times in my life, I've talked and blogged about, the day that alcoholism was called a disease was a great day for alcoholics, because it was like, finally, it's not our fault anymore. We blame it on the disease, and we're alcoholics. We don't even have to try to get better. It's not our fault. It's a disease. Now, that's offensive to alcoholics, I'm sure. But conceptually, the more we name diseases and syndromes and deficit disorders, the more we allow people to use that as their excuse to not be a success and not get things done. Bad sunlight, sorry. And I'm finding that's the case for me these days, is that I'm using attention deficit disorder and mental illness as my reason. Sorry, I have to not have my hand just to keep the sun out. As a reason to, I think that guy thinks I was waving at him. That's funny. To not try or to not even start. And so I had a visit today with a good friend of mine who's also suffering from some difficulties in life and mental illness of various type. And it was a therapeutic day. We really discussed a lot of really cool things. Neither one of us are professionals, and we don't have the same problems, but we understand more than the guy saying, just get out of bed. Just go get a job. Just how many resumes have you put out today? And we had a lot of discussions about a lot of different things, but the one that I found most fascinating was how long we had to discuss on the word can't. And she even brought up some Charlie Sheen statement, and I wish I could remember it now because it was the catalyst for the entire conversation. Can't is the cancer of something. But essentially what it meant was that, can't is a horrible, horrible word. And we debated it for a long time. Because to say to someone, oh, just get on that plane, buck it up, and they say, I can't. Or, to say to someone who's depressed, just get out of bed, go be with your friends, smile, laugh. And they say, but I can't. And they mean it. They can't. And yet at the same time, we all know they really can. I mean, what is can't? Is it won't? If you say to somebody, you won't get on that plane, that's like slapping them in the face too, because to them, their phobia, it's real. And can't is real. Now, if we elaborate more, we say, okay, you can't get on the plane. Well, if we drug you, you can. If we hypnotize you, maybe you can. If we give you 10 years of therapy, maybe you can. So can't wasn't real. You really can. And then I think, well, that's then, this is now. I still can't get on the plane. So relating this to me, there's so many things that I'm not doing for the job search project. I'm not starting. And I'm using the mental illness as the excuse, like the alcoholic that says, it's a disease, not my fault. I'm saying, I've got attention deficit disorder, low self-esteem, obsession problems, not my fault. I literally can't. And I'm using the word literally the way it used to be, not the way it is in the dictionary today, meaning actually not literally. More like virtually. I love the dictionary definition of virtually. I looked it up once and it was true in fact but not in reality. And I thought, what? Anyway, that's a topic of its own. I think I can't. My friend says, well, we both know you can. There's nothing actually stopping you from doing a job. You're as smart as anybody else. You're maybe even smarter than a lot of people. You know you make people happy. You can go through a list of to-dos and yeses and nos, and you really are capable of any of the things that you're saying you can't do. Some of them you're probably capable of doing really well. And yet, I can't. Is can't a cancer? No, I don't believe that. Is can't a word we shouldn't be using? There's too many words we tell people not to use these days, and it's silly. Obviously, we should be able to use the word can't. It comes in handy in a lot of situations. But in this case, when I say I can't find a job, okay, that's different. When I say I can't go out and put out my resume, it's really a fear of what happens if I do that's disabling me. It's a disabling fear of being rejected, having somebody say no, of a pre-fearing my failure. I am afraid of failing, so I don't try. And that's entirely different than can't. But that fear is so disabling that I can't. It's a frustrating paradox. It's a loop. I think what I really mean, and she said it best, you can't do it on your own. The problem is, my can't extends to asking for help. I don't know where to start. I still don't have a plan. So, I can't. So instead I do something else. And I think that's the trick. Everyone is different. And if I say I can't, but I know I must, then I have to find a way. I have to use a trick, come up with a solution, find a way. In Jurassic Park, they say life will find a way. Well, I'm not prepared to be homeless. In my mind, I've already prepared for failure. I've planned for it. But in this case, I can't just run away. I've run out of couches to stay on. I really have to. So my can't has to be turned into a power. I have to figure out how I can do something else to get around the can't. I have to cheat. Is that like cutting out the can'ts? Well, looking for the analogy is just not worth it. But for now, it's a tough one. I mean, I had the argument with her, and now I'm having it with the camera. Can't is a hard word. People who don't understand will say it's crazy. Of course you can. I even say it's crazy. Of course I can. There's nothing physically stopping me. I don't have both legs missing. And even if I had both legs missing, I'm not giving any disrespect to people who lose both legs. A lot of them do a lot more than me. A lot of people have a good attitude when they lose both legs, and can't isn't part of their vocabulary. But I suspect there's a lot of people who also get very depressed and give up. It's the same whether you have legs or not. Mental illness exists in both people, with legs, without legs. If I lost my legs, I don't know what would happen. I would probably still be me, but the scope of can't might grow even bigger. Who knows? Let's not talk that way. In any case, today I am as disabled as someone without legs. That's maybe offensive to people without legs. Sorry. I'm overthinking, but that's what I do. So I haven't resolved anything in this video. I still can't figure it out. That's probably the best way of putting it. I like that. When someone says you can't, what you really mean is, I can't figure it out, or I haven't yet figured it out. But I have to. When I'm staying positive instead of negative, I have to figure it out. And I will. Or I'll be homeless. The other day I was actually preparing for that. I was thinking, okay, give up my cellular phone, give up my TV, give up my internet, get them all down to a reasonable amount, get a few contracts, I can still survive. Eat out less, give up all you can eat fajita Mondays. But that's really just giving into preparing to lose. What did I say today? If you prepare to fail, be prepared to fail. I know there's another saying like that, but I couldn't remember it, so I came up with that on my own, and I kind of liked it. Anyway, I felt the need to ramble on about that can't, because it was a really meaningful conversation that doesn't have an end. I can't figure it out. And even before this started, you know, I'm at my age now, but even before this job crisis, I've always thought, man, I wish I could figure out how to profit from being me, how to be a success, how to take the things that I do well and make money. And I think the secret is, I can't, we can. I just need to find the right we. That's the answer. That's the ending of today's video. I can't, we can. Community rules, partnerships rule, romance and love rule. Everything for someone with mental illness, it really comes down to, if I can't, we can. So that's today's leadership moment, as Leslie would say. If you can't, we can. Thanks for watching me on Frogstar TV. This is Jeff Gold.